Welcome to the Wellness Creator Podcast. In today's episode, we are talking about the magic of flash sales and why you should consider incorporating them into your online business. I'm Jenny Barcelos, the CEO and co-founder of Marvelous. I'm joined with my co-founder, Sandy, our CMO. How are you today, Sandy?
I'm great, Jenny. Thank you for asking. It is the summer. We're about to launch into our flash sale. So we thought we should talk about it. So they're always like a fun time for me.
Yeah.
Putting
We
things on sales.
do two of these a year. So we should just tell everyone kind of flat out. We've been doing this, I feel like, forever, for many, many years.
Yeah.
We always do a Black Friday sale, which we typically recommend because it's usually a really good time to sell things. And we pretty much also always do a summer sale called our birthday sale. And that's because you and I both have summer birthdays. Yours is at the end of July and mine is at the end of August. And we usually do like kind of a July time frame sale, just as like another bookend to our marketing plan for the year.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting that we kind of run through what we do. And maybe all of you great listeners would want to run a flash sale for yourself. So we're going to talk about some key characteristics of what a flash sale is, and then some pros and cons, because I don't know that it's right for everyone. I don't think everyone needs to run a flash sale, but we can talk about that. So let's start with some key characteristics. Let's just define it. What is a flash sale?
Yeah, so this is usually like a very low key launch where essentially you're selling by email and by maybe some posts on your social media channels. And it's a small window of time where you're promoting something at a pretty good discount. And the idea is that you don't discount at this level the rest of the year or the rest of the quarter or whatever. So it really is a meaningful sale. And it's a kind of a low hanging fruit for you as a business owner because it's just sending a handful of emails usually with like, this is going on sale and this is when the cart closes and the sale ends, and that's what it is. So in order though for that to be enticing, you usually have to make it a pretty good discount.
Right. And as you said, not something you do all the time. It's like people kind of wait for it or they know that it's coming up. That's how it works. You don't want to deeply discount every time you do a little promo.
Yes.
And also I was thinking about this, like for like when we talk about the small time frame, it's a small window of time. We run ours over 3 days. And I think for us, that is the magic sweet spot. But I was thinking about, you could also do like a 1-day flash sale. You could do a 2-day flash sale. You could do even a few hours, like it would be kind of fun to see what you'd have to kind of really do some communication prior to. I know we just bought a bike rack at a local bike store, and they have like blue light specials. So throughout the Saturday, each hour, a different item went on sale, and you had to like time yourself to go down. It was like huge discounts. But anyway, I just throw that out there because it might be kind of fun to like get people really excited, and then like it's like 3 hours only or something.
Yeah. Well, and that like really goes along with Black Friday, or in our case, what's going on right now as we're recording is Amazon Prime Day. And I think these are like, we're learning these strategies from some of the bigger or biggest brands in the world. And they do those kinds of fun kind of hourly or, this morning until they sell out, doorbusters.
Right.
Obviously, those are for brick and mortar retailers. Those are a way to kind of get people in the door, get them on the site where they're likely to spend more money on other things. But for online businesses, usually you don't have a lot of other things for people to buy. So you're not wanting to discount so heavily that you're like not making money on the deal. So you have to know your numbers in order to do something like a flash sale, especially as a newer business. You really need to understand kind of what your costs are and whether it makes sense to deeply discount. But I think you can do so many fun, creative things. I feel like we have done like 1-day flash sales in the past too, but because the internet is busy, it's hard to kind of get enough emails and announcements out for people to be able to buy something, within that window of time. They might open their email 2 hours too late, for example.
Right. That's what always happens. I think that's why we've sort of settled upon the 3-day because people are always a day or two behind in their emails
Yeah.
often. And so to do a 1-day, you'd have to really, really educate your audience for days before, like,
Yeah.
look, you've got to be ready. Mark your calendar. It's
Yeah.
going on sale for this many hours, right?
Yeah.
Or you could just open it up for 3 days. But yeah,
Yeah.
you got to find things to stand out and make it interesting for your clients, but also for you. It is kind of fun to run these things.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about some pros. So, pros for running a flash sale. Number one, I think it really increases your brand awareness. It gets some excitement. It gets some buzz. People are talking. People are listening. They're like reading what you have, deciding if they should purchase or not. You're like, hey, world, hey, email list, remember I have this membership or whatever it may be, right? So you're really increasing the brand awareness out in the public sphere.
Yes, that's totally true. And then the next kind of reason to do this or pro is that you're giving your business a cash infusion. So especially for businesses like memberships or subscription-based businesses, which I know is the case for a lot of our listeners and obviously for us on the software side, you have this sort of like steady, predictable revenue, which like boo-hoo, poor us, right? Like with this predictable revenue stream. But it is really, really nice to have certain times of the year where you do get these larger cash infusions and you can make, you can sort of bet on, I'm going to probably have a bigger month when I do these big sales or promotions or launches. And then you have a little bit more money to work with. So if you're smart with your business, you're essentially like kind of running the business on that regular cash flow that you can expect. So then these additional cash infusions are extra that give you more kind of creative marketing budget, or, money to go towards bigger goals. So that's, I think, really, really nice.
Which is why we chose July, because July, August were historically our lowest months because everyone's on holidays. It's probably true for a lot of people.
Yeah.
But so that's what we did was create this, like, let's get some money in July. Let's create a flash sale. What should we call it? Oh, we have our birthdays. So it'll be our birthday sale, right? So that was sort of the logic. It was like, not let's celebrate our birthdays. It was like, we need money in July. We need to like increase the flow.
And I think we did learn from Amazon too, because that's obviously like there's other stores that do Christmas in July or Amazon Prime Day, for example, because to kind of like balance out that slower season of business. Yeah. And I know every business is a little bit different, but typically many businesses, especially in our industry, are slow in the summer. Yeah. So I think, and especially if you're a busy mom and you're working, you're running a business, like you're a parent, like you're not working as much probably either. So you're not as present online, you're not as present out in your community. So you're not like top of mind the same way you are maybe during the school year or during like other kinds of times like holidays. So, or January in our industry, obviously January is like the biggest industry for most of our clients because of the January joiners phenomenon in the wellness industry. So you just want to think about, like, if you have a slow time coming up, like that's a good time to plan a launch because you're, even a launch that's like in a slower time of year, you're still going to do significantly better than if you didn't do a launch at all.
The other thing, when you were talking, reminded me of some of our clients have done this where they are slower in the summer, but they're planning to do a bigger launch in September, October. Yeah. And so they'll do a flash sale for early access to their September program. So you, again, get the cash in July. People are basically pre-buying it, but you've brought some money into your bank account in a slow month with the promise that they'll be able to have, they've guaranteed a spot for something that's happening in the future.
Yeah, that's a great point. So that's like the magic of pre-selling. And I know we have some clients right now on the coaching side in our coaching business that are pre-selling for fall programs. Right. So if you do happen to have something that isn't like a membership or a recurring product that is starting in the fall, let's say you have a cohort or a teacher training program or something of that sort, or a retreat, pre-selling a certain percentage of those seats during the summer at even a small discount can kind of get you over that summer hump of a lack of revenue. Yeah.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to mention, another pro that we see on our software birthday sale a lot is, yes, it's a cash infusion. And yes, hopefully you're attracting new customers, because in our case, it's really only for brand new clients to the platform. But our sale is only for annual plans.
Yeah.
So we will see a lot of our monthly people who have been here for probably usually less than a year love it and go, oh, I should take, advantage of upgrading to an annual plan at this discounted rate.
Yeah.
So for those of you who have memberships, that is another thing to think about is if you're running a flash sale, maybe don't do it on the monthly because typically those values are quite low or the pricing is quite low, but run it on an annual. Like I've got whatever, 25, 30% discount flash sale for annual plans. So you'll attract new clients, but also upgrade some of your existing monthly payments.
Yes, yes. So, and just want to give a caveat here. So typically you charge a little bit less per month on an annual plan, right? So those are slightly less profitable, but the trade-off for you as a business owner is that you increase retention when you sell annual plans. So you like to, you have to run the numbers for your own business, but you typically are less likely to lose someone to churn when they're only paying once a year than when they're paying monthly. So even though you make less money per year on your annual plan people versus people who pay for 12 months of monthly service or monthly membership, you get that added benefit of higher net retention. And so that's just like something to think about in your business. And obviously there's like nuances and some people's businesses are different, but typically industry wide, the trade-off is still better for you as a business owner to be selling annually, at least some percentage of your membership plans. So that's just something to think about. And because, when somebody has to pay the bill every single month, they're just like reminded of it. And it is a higher amount per year. Versus if they're just paying once a year, it's like, okay, I just got to kind of bite the bullet once a year and I get this pretty good discounted rate. And so I'm going to keep going. And so that's just something to think about.
And then in that case, for those memberships, they renew the next July in this example, right? So you have now July is one of our higher months because of this this ongoing flash sale that we keep having. So
that's for sure. That's another pro. Sure. Yeah, there's the residual benefit of the more years you do it. Yeah. So that's a really interesting point because you think about it as like this long-term investment in your business too. It's not just this flash sale where you get this cash infusion one time. Like we have subscriptions renewing in July from people who bought like in 2018 or 2019, for example, during one of our first birthday sales that we had. So I think that's a great point. And obviously sometimes people drop off, but like if you keep going and you're delivering value, there's some percentage of people that stay and ideally those numbers get bigger every year.
Yeah. That's great. Okay, so let's talk about the cons. So the pros are you've got lots of excitement, you've got lots of buzz, you've got an increased brand awareness. People are talking about you or thinking about you, cash infusion. And then if you do have these recurring plans, you can sell to annual and have the recurring every whatever month you're holding the flash sale in. The cons of a flash sale are, one, you can do some damage to your reputation, to your brand, because you can, and I think it's how you handle it. I think it's how often you do it and how deeply you discount. But it can damage your brand. Like people can wait for that sale and never buy anything full price.
Yes. And we see this a lot with certain retailers. Like if you think about a retailer like Gap or like there's a lot of retailers that are very heavily coupon based and you just sort of like factor in that the price is like 50% off of whatever you see. So you're going to wait until you see that coupon come through in your email or in the mail. And you don't want to be one of those brands. Like as an internet-based business, that's not the ideal kind of marketing tactic that most of us should be employing. So I think that's true. Like by putting things on sale, especially steeply on sale, it does kind of cheapen. It can cheapen your brand and your business. And so you want to be very careful. Like we only do this sale twice a year. And there's one other way people can buy things on sale that we're not going to talk about right now. And it's like everyone has one chance to do it ever. And that's it. Like it's, people write into our inbox all the time and say like, oh, I'm really interested in Marvelous. I just did a demo or I did a trial. What kind of deals do you guys have going on right now? And it's like, yep, nope, no deals. Like sorry, there's like, I've seen our team reply over the last like month or so, like, oh, there's a birthday sale coming in July, but it's not like, oh, let me look that up on my like cheat sheet of coupon codes like that. You don't want to be that, right? So I think that, yeah, you just start to chip away at everything that you've built when you start to become that kind of like discount driven company.
Mm-hmm. The other con is that it can get really, really busy. So the week that we have these sales, you and I make sure that we are focused, available at our desks. We're not traveling, because there's a lot of a lot of questions in the inbox. There's a lot of like situations, and there's work to do, right? So, but that's kind of like a good bad thing, right? Like you're making money because you're so busy. So it's a questionable con.
Yeah.
And what do you think, Jenny, like who should not, when we talk about it's not for everybody, what size or kind of business is a flash sale not good for?
I mean, that's like a complicated question. And I think over time I would answer this differently. I think that discounts and sales can be effective for every kind of business. Like, I think maybe not a flash sale. Like, if you've never like launched or sold something before, we have a whole process that we teach and recommend called beta launching, where you are discounting, but it's not the same as a flash sale. Like, there are strings attached and you want feedback. I would say like in order for it to make a ton of sense, like you have to have a decent sized audience for it to make sense to do something like a flash sale. You have to have sold something in the past at full price and had people happy with the value you were offering at full price. And you have to have a decent either email list following or social following for that sale to make sense and be worth your time. Otherwise, there's just better ways of selling things. Like if you have a small following, like a small Instagram following, for example, in a small email list, like say under 100 or 200 each, I would like, there's better ways to sell to those people, like personal outreach. And like, I would do webinars. I would not do flash sales. And so you're going to have higher conversion rates with those other tactics. I would focus on like getting the money in the door, the most effective way possible. But once you have a bigger audience, I think pretty much anyone could incorporate flash sales in, as long as you're not doing it more than, I would say once a quarter is the absolute most. And for us, we've decided twice a year really is our maximum. What would you say, Sandy?
I think it's audience size. If you've got 35 people on your email list and you've just did a first launch and now you're going to flash sale, it doesn't make any sense, right? I think there has to be new people on your list or in your audience who are not current clients for it to make sense. So it's all audience size. And I don't know exactly, where to draw that line, but I think, I think it's at least a couple hundred on your email list, if not more.
And growing since you last launched, right? So that's the other thing is we have this like calculator or this spreadsheet that we typically recommend and we use with our coaching clients and we use with ourselves. And it's not even looking at absolute size of the audience and email list. It's looking at growth since the last launch, because those newer folks to your email list are going to be more likely to buy what you're selling in your flash launch. So I think that those kinds of things are all factors. I mean, and it is kind of a low barrier. Like a flash sale is not a ton of work from a marketing perspective compared to a lot of other things. So it's not like you're going to waste a ton of time and energy, but it's just probably not going to be very effective if you have a small audience. Like it's just probably not
your time is better spent on list growth and thought leadership and creating a great opt-in and top marketing that, as opposed to a flash sale. So yes, I think it's definitely for those with been in business for a little while and a bigger audience.
Yes. And I also think like you want to be to a point where sending 3 emails in a week feels easy to you. Like sending flash sale emails should feel pretty straightforward and not like a heavy lift. If it feels like a lot, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have 3 people unsubscribe if I do this and it's going to take me like 4 hours to write each of these emails, like that is not worth your time. You're not ready. You will like you're working on it. That's fine. Again, the way to make sales of your signature offer or your membership at that point is really to like do personal outreach, to do more high touch marketing tactics like webinars, to do, you know, guest appearances on people's podcasts, whatever it may be. You're just going to see a lot more bang for your buck if that's the case.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. So our flash sale starts next week. If you're on our list, you'll see the emails come through. You'll know what we're doing. You'll see the logic behind all the emails. So follow along. And if you are not a client of Marvelous, this next week, which is the week of July 20 something in 2024, I don't have the date in front of me. I should. 22nd, 2024, July 22nd, that's when the flash sale starts. So come and join us. And if you are already a client, follow along, take notes, and run your own flash sale. Let us know how it goes.
Yep. All right.
Thanks,
Thanks, Sandy. All right, everybody. We will see you next time.
Bye.